it's not fair to compare that Charles Oliveira is a different fighter when he was younger than he is now. But then in the earlier, when you were stating, is that Islam is not he's not confident, and he is confident now. He's got confidence coming along.
He wasn't confident.
But his mindset is not of like Khabib's. Look, a lot has happened since his one loss.
True.
But we don't know that yet. Look, things can change. You just proved to me, you said, because Oliveira's changed, that things can change. Islam could be the most confident son of a bitch in that damn cage on Saturday night. You won't know.
I think he's going to be confident. I think he's going to be confident.
His mindset could be just as
He's
good
he's going to be a confident guy. But the difference being is, again, he has not, and this is and I'm not taking anything away from who he is as a fighter. He's phenomenal. But truthfully, and you said a lot of guys have ducked him. Okay, I'll say that's true.
Tons of guys.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree with you. I'm not, like I said, I'm saying that's true. But the problem is he hasn't experienced that top 3 level guy, that top 5 level guy. He doesn't have one of them on his record. Not one. And that's the difference.
Is that his fault? That his fault?
Not at all. Not saying it is. Not saying
I want to make sure that's clear. He's called out Tony. He's called out Chandler.
Oh, yeah.
He's called out RDA when they were all ranked in the top 5, top 3, and they all said fuck no. They all said hell no. They all sidestepped the issue. They all went around. Then when he got ranked high, they're like, hey, they can't keep his name out of their mouth.
Yeah.
That's just the way. I know this is the fight game. That's the way it goes.
That is.
But I'm just being honest. Look, people are trying to avoid him. And I think a lot of people are also afraid because he does have that Khabib effect of like, hey, he comes from Khabib's camp. They're close. He has that style of which people understand. It's going to be one of those fight for my life type styles. I'm going to have to struggle to get up off the bottom. I'll have to struggle over every takedown defense. You know, on the feet, he doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit on the feet because he has one loss by knockout from however long ago. Like, Charles got 8 losses. Like, listen, I'm just being honest. Charles got 8 losses. How is one guy who has 1 loss versus the guy who has 8 losses? We want to start comparing losses. This guy's gave up several times. Now, I agree with you. He can be a different fighter at 55 because he had cut so much weight. I think that made him mentally weak. You and I can agree. I think we can agree on that. Am I right?
I agree with you.
I am a huge
personality.
I am a huge fan of Charles Oliveira. So let's get that out of the way right off the bat. I'm a fan of his grappling. I'm a fan of the way he strikes and his stand-up. I'm a fan of the way he takes the center of the ring or the cage and dominates and commands respect. I love how now at 55, he will stand and bang with you and trade with you. I like that. He threatens people. He's going, hey, if I get dropped, come on into my guard. Guys don't do that though. Okay. Chandler jumped in for a split seconds and then jumped right out or almost got submitted. That's going to be the difference in this fight. Now, do I think that Islam's going to drop him? I can't tell you that. I don't know. Do I think he has a chance on the feet? I absolutely do think he has a chance on the feet. His southpaw style of stand-up will give Charles a little bit of a problem. The way he strikes will give him a little bit of a problem. Size-wise, Islam is going to be the bigger fighter. Maybe not. They'll probably be equally as height. But I think that size-wise, when they get into that cage, that Islam will be the bigger fighter. He will be the stronger fighter. His dominant position. Now, I agree with you. He is not as good a wrestler as Khabib was, but it's a different style. And I've said this for I don't know how many years. He will very rarely shoot a double leg, especially against Charles because the guillotine, because of maybe potentially missing the takedown and giving up the back. All of those things, I don't expect him to really shoot for the single leg or the double leg. If he does shoot for the single, it'll be the single to the body lock. He will work his way up quickly, head on the inside, press Charles to the fence, foot sweep, elevate, takedown, whatever it is. But he will end up in some sort of half guard position. He will try to avoid being put in full guard at full cost. There will be no positioning where he will try to end up where he gets a takedown, where he tries to end up in guard. He's got to be very careful, though, because we saw, I think it was with Drew Dober. Was it Drew Dober with the guillotine? I think I had said Sarukian a long time ago. I think in Drew Dober almost caught him in a guillotine, and Islam had to roll out, kind of get to the top position. I believe it was Drew Dober. Very tight on the guillotine. That type of guillotine and that chance, I think there's a good chance that Charles finishes that. There's probably a really good chance. I think there's a lot has happened though in the quality of the guys that he's had to fight since then. And I'm not saying they're all world beaters. He just can't seem to fight those guys because the top 5, top 7, they didn't want to fight him. And the ones that did, he did what he was supposed to do. He got rid of them. I'm getting sick of reading about the fact that people think that he's a boring fighter. He's a dominant fighter.
No.
He's
Anybody that says he's boring,
fighter.
yes. He's a dominant fighter, and he's a fantastic fighter. My whole thing with this is people saying, especially, and look, it's gamesmanship. I totally understand. But when his camp is coming out saying it's going to be 1 round, you look and you go,
Charles's.
No.
Charles camp or Islam camp?
Both of them.
Oh.
Both of them now.
No.
Both of them now.
I don't think so.
And you look and you go, get real. This is the toughest fight of his career. By far.
I want to remind you of this, though. Just because Khabib is retired, he still does train all the time. Okay. They've also had Abu Bakr in there, who's a 175 pounder who can wrestle and do well. You've also got, Zuba, who's in there, who's a 145 pounder, who's extremely fast, good wrestling, good sambo, good throws, all those things. That's been one of his main training partners for this fight as well. There's other guys that they have brought in that are all there. Now, he's also, I want to remind that we're talking about the length of when you travel. Charles came in a couple days ago, and all I've seen from Charles on social media is walking lions, playing with tigers, hanging out, sightseeing, which is fine. I understand. Islam's been there since June. He hasn't left. His whole camp has been there. He has not been straight away. The dinners, he's training, back to the hotel. I think there could be a level of distraction in this fight. And I know this happens all the time. Fighters get somewhere, they go and they sightsee, they do this. I think as the champion, as we all know, when you're the champion, there's a lot more responsibility on you.
Hold on, he's not champion. You already told me he wasn't champion.
You understand what I'm saying. Okay.
Yes,
he's not the champion. We know that. But you understand what I'm saying. As someone who is considered to be the champion, okay? And I said this last show. I said, look, or not the show, but the show before. Is that the champion has a name. It's Charles Oliveira. If you want to say he's the champ, I can get behind that. He deserves, he's respected enough. He's done enough. I think he deserves to be called the champion. But when they both step in there, no one's the champion. It's a vacant title, and that they're both fighting for. That's what's going on. Islam has not strayed away from any of that. These type of things, it comes down to that one little bit of focus. Are you focused? Are you more distracted with looking the part, socializing? The UFC's probably got him running around, meeting a ton of sheiks, hanging out, having dinners, or not dinners, but meeting and greeting and doing stuff to help set up their future in Dubai or Yaz Island or wherever else they want to try to go to in Saudi Arabia. They have Charles out there meeting everybody they possibly can to try to make sure that their future endeavors work out. Yeah, that's the nature of being the guy that is considered to be the champ.
Absolutely it is. But let's be honest, okay? You're a smart guy, and you know how to handle these things.
Say that again, John, one more time.
You're a smart guy. You know how to handle these things, and you have people around you that say, we will allow Charles to be free from this time to this time.
Yeah.
And that's when he does those things. And from that, and I don't care how many pictures are taken of him in those time periods, that doesn't mean that he's not focused on what he's doing and why he's there. And look, you got to be honest about this. This is a hometown fight for one guy. Let's be real. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is Islam Makhachev's hometown. All right. His brother there basically owns that place with the people that are behind him. Am I saying something that's not true?
You're saying exactly the truth.
Okay.
No one has been as dominant in terms of relationship building there in that area as Khabib.
There's only one guy that's even close, and that's Renzo Gracie.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just be honest.
And they're good friends, by the way.
Exactly. And
they're good friends.
You look and you go, hey, I understand this fight, no matter what anyone wants to say, it's a 50-50. And that's what's so good about it. It is that Islam can walk away as the new lightweight champion of the world for the UFC. But it's just as possible that Charles walks away now as the two-time lightweight champion, getting the belt back from it being stripped and stuff. This is a matchup, and the real difference, and I've heard so many people talking about, oh, Charles has quit before. I don't give a fuck what you did before. Once you have the mindset, I will not stop. I will not give in. I will not, be in a position where I have to quit. No, it's all mindset, Josh. And you know what? You can have that mindset or you don't have it. And at one point, I don't think he had it, but he does now. And he's proved it in his last couple of fights.
Go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code Weighing In, and they'll give you additional spending cash with your first initial deposit.
100% agree.